Do 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 do. Interesting. Alright there, this week I'll be ranting about all the current events that people like to argue about. This was inspired when I accidentally went on a Facebook group. It was called This is England or something horrible like that. People on it were arguing about certain religions invading our country and taking it over, which is all ridiculous. It was just full of redneck idiots. I won't just be covering that, I'll be covering a myriad of things that really grind my gears recently. And I just thought it'd be a good idea to just get some rage out there, who knows.
Terrorism.
Everybody seems to think that we're going to be overrun by terrorists in the next 40 years and the main religion in the UK is going to be Muslim. People just really into the idea of this happening. Like, I was talking with this one guy, he swore down that in 2 generations white people would be the minority, Christianity would be the minority and Muslims would just take over. And then he started going on about the Nazis and look at the Nazis and what happened there to Germany. I was like, what, they turned into one of the most industrious and thriving countries in the European Union? Yeah, I can see how that fucked up. Idiots. Anyway, I just got sick of banging my head against the brick wall of conversation that was talking to this bloke. Racism. Racism. He seems so fervently insistent that his scaremongering theory was the correct theory. He was like, think of your grandchildren. What the fuck, mate? Shut up.
Flooding.
Those of you who live in England and are watching this have obviously realised that we have quite a few extreme weather instances recently, especially in the countryside where everything seems to be underwater. But this happens because a lot of the countryside is marshland and it just floods. One thing that isn't causing the flooding though, gay people. I don't know where that came from. This is God punishing us for having gay people marry each other. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my fucking life. I personally don't believe in God. But if I did, I'd like to believe that he wasn't such a dick that you'd think, don't like that, I'm just gonna throw loads of horrible weather at you. That's just ridiculous. I mean, you think with all these celebrities coming out as homosexual, supporting LGBT rights and everything, maybe we're becoming more tolerant as a race. Apparently not. People are just getting more ignorant. What is this, the 18th century or something? You know, soon we're gonna have witch hunts and stuff. With regards to the weather, the local news, and the national news even, they're going on about it like it's the apocalypse. They're using words like aggressive, it's attacking our shores, decimating our homes. Anyone think we're actually going to war against the weather or something?
The battle was long and bloody, but the branches were the ones that fell.
It's just climate change. This happens, it's been happening for millions of years. And we've had something like 4 ice ages, I believe. Like, it just happens, it's the ebb and flow of life. I guess what we do to the planet is not great, but it's not got that big an impact on the weather as people seem to think. Oh, another theory I've heard is military satellites are causing weather to go mental as well. People just have too vivid an imagination and people are listening and believing it. Oh, how do these people function in day-to-day life if they think everything is out to get them?
Winter Olympics.
There's the Winter Olympics that has just started in Russia. And boy, is that causing a lot of hot potatoes. Again, with the intolerance to homosexual, they weren't going to allow them to compete in the Olympics. Again, it seems to link with the weather. It's not their fault, they're just human beings, for Christ's sake. The 21st century has all been all about, like, opening each other's minds and being more tolerant, surely. Or have I just been living under a blanket of fantasy or something? I don't know. These people seem to be. So that really pisses me off.
E-cigarettes.
Now I think that these things are wonderful. They smell great. You can have them in different scents and flavours. You can smoke them indoors and people won't turn their noses up in disgust. And it doesn't kill you. A recent documentary has caused people to start getting a bit scared about it because it's relatively new and untested. People are like, oh shit, what if in 20 years people start exploding for no reason? Then they're blaming the e-cigarettes. I mean, I'm just waiting for the first story. Man dies of e-cigarette overdose or something. Just take your time and try to describe to us the man who killed your husband. I'll never forget his face. Covered in plastic and had liquid inside. He was very short. I heard his name. It was e-cigarette. Bastards. I think it has something to do with the tobacco companies panicking and going, shit, more and more people are subscribing to this, what we thought was a fad, is now becoming a fact. I'm just hearing all sorts of crazy cock and bull stories like someone's dog accidentally bit into some e-liquid and it poisoned them and they died. Well, sorry, that's not to do with that. That's negligence, leaving something poisonous like nicotine at a level where the dog can get it. You know, that's nothing to do with the actual smoking of them. That's just scare tactics and people just throwing their hands up in the air and going, oh no, this documentary said this and now I'm going to believe whatever. Right, to summarise, it appears that the world wants us to hate gay people, ban all Muslims, encourage people to smoke, and wage war on the weather. I thought that we were making leaps and bounds, but apparently we're just turning into a parody of ourselves. With the news reports and the hysteria surrounding all these crazy things, it's almost like the world has gone completely brass eye. That's probably what Chris Morris has been up to all these years. I'm sorry I got so angry during this. There are so many idiots out there, it kind of makes me sad. I mean, don't get me wrong, I quite like idiots. The world needs them. It makes smart people look better by comparison. But when they are the majority, it kind of gets a bit sort of like, okay, calm down. We're getting pushed into a corner and this is the big wall of idiocy, like sewage that's being flushing us out to the sea. And we're caused tidal waves and stuff, and then you can't blame the gays, you just have to blame smart people instead. Try not to believe everything you read and just keep an open mind, alright? If you have any grievances or rants of your own, please do so in the comments section below and then we can maybe discuss it. So remember to take care guys, and I'll see you next week. A lot of fajitas.